This is also the first weekend of meteorological spring, so as the temperatures start to warm, many of you want to head outside, start cleaning up your yard and do some spring gardening. But there's some things you need to do before breaking out the rakes and the shovels. Let's get some advice. Heidi Highland now joins us. She's the Chief Experience Officer at Heidi's Grow House and Lifestyles Garden. Thanks for joining us, and let's get to it. We start doing your yard cleanup. Tell us some important tips about what to do with the leaves, like especially take them out of your garden beds. Why is that?
Yeah, thanks for having me this morning. It's really important to talk about. I'm up here in Minnesota in zone 4, so it might be a little different timing depending on where you are in the country. But you want to leave the leaf litter in the garden beds because there's dormant insects still asleep. It's so sunny out, we get excited to go outside and play, but you got to wait a little bit to clean up the leaves in the garden beds. It also, keeps the moisture in a little bit, and we like the moisture in the gardens. So don't get itching too soon to do the garden cleanup.
Yeah, easier said than done, though. But when is the right time to start the cleaning out the garden beds?
Well, you really want to wait until, maybe for us here in zone 4, maybe May 15th is the safe time to plant when the soil is 50 degrees. So that's sort of the safe date for us. But the garden cleanup, probably April 15th, April 1st maybe. But maybe we shouldn't clean it up at all. I know people don't like to talk about that because they just want to get the leaves off. But they really provide nutrition to the garden as well. And if you leave the stems up from last year's plants, those hollow stems are where the bees will have homes, in those hollow cavities. So we might want to rethink how we do gardening. Maybe right now you go outside and prune. You can prune shrubs and trees that are still dormant and things that aren't going to bloom in the spring because you don't want to cut off those spring blooms. But you've got to plan ahead because you don't want to just willy-nilly clean everything up. It's a new paradigm today to watch for the pollinators.
That's a good point there. But also, a lot of cities now still have snow on their ground. But even once that has melted away, gardeners still need to kind of wait before they actually start breaking out the shovels and putting plants in the ground. Why is that?
Well, because those plants will freeze, right? So up here, we still have plenty of snow on the ground, and we don't put out our cool season crops for probably another month. And they can take a frost, pansies and alyssum and lobelia. And this fabulous plant, this is a great Lysimachia. We're still just potting things up in the greenhouse, as you can see. So it depends on where you are. Maybe now to get going, you're sharpening your tools and cleaning your shed and looking at stormwater management. Where the water moves today as it melts is important to consider. Maybe you put a rain garden where your water is puddling in your landscape. So there's things you can do, but just don't get out there too soon and get rid of those beneficial bugs.
Yeah, we have the fever, but you got to be patient. Great advice. That's Heidi Highland, Chief Experience Officer at Heidi's Grow House and Lifestyle Gardens, joining us from Minnesota. Thanks for joining us.